www.categories.com. My name is Jason JROCK Houston, and today we're speaking with Authority Zero lead singer Jason Devore. How you doing today, Jason?
Hey, Jason, I am doing well. Thank
yeah,
you
love that name. Now, you guys are from Authority Zero, and until your publicist contacted me about the band, and I got to be honest, never heard of you guys. We typically on our site cover like hard rock and metal, but I think our audience would kind of be into you guys because while you're not metal, you got a little bit of a punk element going, or quite a bit, but there's a bit of edge to your music, so that's why I wanted to interview the band, and I was checking out the single for, and the video for the song is Ollie Ollie Ocken. Talk a little bit about the song, and is there any special meaning behind that title?
Well, Ollie Ollie Oxen Free is a kind of a terminology of, the come out, wherever you are, come out and feel free, come out and feel safe. It obviously leads back to the old childhood game of, come out wherever you are, basically, and it's a matter of coming out and feeling free to not feel harmed. That's kind of where the idea came from, because it's been a rough couple of years, obviously, we all know that, and with that, it felt kind of fitting that everyone's kind of been in hiding a little bit or had to be tucked away, or, with emotions being really mostly what I was talking about, because people had to be a little bit more reserved feeling, or seemingly in the beginning, a lot of people keeping to themselves more and feeling kind of sheltered and like I said, kind of hidden away, and even with families and stuff like that, it's hard to be around anybody, families included. Obviously touring and all that, it's not to get too deep into it, but that's really the idea, is to have people come out and feel good again and feel free mentally, as well as just, showing your loved ones that you miss them, and just kind of getting out and feeling better about yourself inside and out.
and maybe I'm a little older than you, but, when I think of punk, like, I think of bands like, obviously the Ramones, they're legendary, the Plasmatics, I don't know if you're any of these bands, but like what I've always loved about punk music, and your song is a good example of this, Ollie Ollie Ock, it's kind of like the lyrics and the words don't even really need to kind of make sense. It's kind of a language all its own, and like I'm listening to the song and like that's exactly what I'm thinking. Is like, what does that mean? But it doesn't really matter. I'm just so getting off on the riff and the music. It's kind of a cool kind of vibe, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's really supposed to be kind of an uplifting, intense track to kind of make you just kind of reevaluate what you've been feeling, I guess, a little bit, maybe in some regard, being a little open-minded to, I've seen, again, throughout this past couple of years, families get torn apart, friends in general, just society as a whole, the world, you name it, man. It's a matter of coming back together and trying to work together and just be human and really support one another and just come out and be free, It's like the chorus is, hold on and be strong, you belong in good company. So long a new song to bring us to sweet harmony. It's like... Oh,
wow. Lyrics, I love lyrics like that.
The understanding of knowing we've all been through really hard times in every direction, and know that you're not alone in that regard, and that you've got people that care.
And I imagine when people come to see the band live, it kind of is a kind of a place for them to unwind and kind of... hey, just think forget about all your troubles and just kind of enjoy what you're here to do, and check us out and enjoy our music, and it's got to be a great release for people to come and see you guys live. And I know you're currently on tour, so let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we are currently on tour, our first tour back in a couple of years, as many bands, and we just hit the road running to support the new album Ollie Ollie Oxen Free about 4 days ago, and we're out for about the next 2 months, hitting a good portion of the United States, as much as possible at the time being, and we're just stoked, man. It's like everyone's full of fire to get back out there, and the first few shows have been just super awesome. It's great seeing people's faces and people getting down and just screaming the words back, and like you said, letting loose and having that moment of just kind of forget about the troubles of life and all that in general.
And part of the reason you guys haven't played, I'm sure it has a lot to do with COVID-19 and all these lockdowns. I mean, what's it like there in Arizona where you guys, are you still having to wear a mask? You still having to, like a lot of these places in California where I live, have these mandates where you have to show proof everywhere you go?
No, it's nothing like that in Arizona right now. It's been pretty mellow for the most part. People do it clearly out of consideration and their own health, for sure, and their own concerns. It seems more so, but there's nothing
mandated.
Nothing like it's been think, on the West Coast that I've seen to that extent just yet.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a funny story about that is, okay, anywhere you go pretty much in, except for maybe, you know, like you go anywhere in LA County, they want you to show proof that you're vaccinated. That you go 5 minutes down the street from where I live, like in Seal Beach, California, and they don't have any of that. It's just you know, and it's like 5 minutes away down the street. It's like
it's
total.
Very interesting to me as well. You know, it's like it's up to the people, I guess, and the promoters themselves, the venues, I guess, the actual mandates from, you know, government mandates and that, or city mandates, or county mandates, or, you know, things of that nature. So it is weird. It's wild how it can be like, just like you said, 5 miles down the road, and it's a different situation. So
have you guys encountered any of that? The reason I'm asking is I talked to some musicians, and they told me, like, again, kind of what you said, depending on, you know, where the show is that night. But have you experiencing that where they tell you, you know, people got to wear a mask, or has that really affected this? Well, I guess first night's not really, but is that something you think you're going to have to worry about?
I think undeniably, yeah. It's just kind of the way things have unfortunately been rolling, and you know, we're doing the best we can to inform people, because every venue, once again, is different. Every county is different. Every city, every block, like you're saying, almost is even different.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like we're trying to inform our fans to make sure they go to the venue's website to see what kind of things their restrictions are, or not restricted, or whatever else.
Yeah, and the reason I bring this all up is not to get political, but I'll tell you why. Because first of all, I think I commend you guys, because there are a lot of bands and musicians I've talked to with all this going on, and a lot of them, you know what, we're not even going to get out there and do a show. We're not releasing anything new until this is all over. But you know, as we can see, the last 2.5 years, who the hell knows when that's going to be? So I commend you guys for getting some new product out there and getting out there and doing these shows. I mean, that's got to be a great feeling that you're kind of getting back out there.
No, I appreciate it. It means a great deal to us, absolutely, man. It's what we live and love to do, and it's what we're just kind of, I guess, used to doing. It's what we've done for, you know, since 2002 is touring, and to have a big barricade or wall or whatever you want to say put up, not just for us, but for everybody around the world, it makes it very difficult. It's hard to swallow, and it's hard to watch, and to try and just kind of get past, you know, and just to get back to the way we used to be. Everyone says the way things were, but they're never going to be the same, I don't think, obviously. But,
I don't,
you know, that's just the way of the world nowadays. But it is nice to see people coming out and their excitement as well with their families, to, like, once again, just kind of put that aside a little bit and live free-minded for a moment and just careless for a bit.
Because I believe, you know, everybody should be responsible and respectful of everybody else, but you know,
absolutely.
But you know, what's kind of scary to me is I've seen some people, even you know, in my everyday life, that are, because of what they watch on TV, they're afraid to leave their house, and I'm like, you know, you can't live like that. You got to get out of the house. You know, I mean, I remember when you couldn't go anywhere. They first started having all these lockdowns, and man, I would go to the grocery store just to get out of the house. You know, I mean, it got to that point, and now I want to talk a little bit about the history of the band. Now, I know one of the things is always hard to do is come up with a band name. You guys got a pretty cool sounding name, Authority Zero. How did you come up with that?
The band name, well, that's kind of like the story of most bands. You come up with a bunch of dumb stuff that you really don't think is a good band name, and for some reason, it's like when you get asked about things that bother you, it's like you for some reason can't think of a single one. But that's kind of like what we did as well. We came up with a bunch of stuff, and then at the point in time, we're obviously a bunch of little punk kids, skateboarders, and stuff like that. So the name initially also meant, like, you know, a rebellion and all that stuff, and anti-authority and stuff, and we're like 14, 15. But the idea came from actually my original guitar player, Bill Marks. He had a girlfriend's mom that worked at a bank.
Wow.
And he went in there one day when we were trying to figure names out, and there was a screen on there, like the old DOS screen, like the blinking.
Wow, I remember that, Yeah,
and it said Authority, and then it had a colon and a blinking zero. And he's a big Spanish guy. He's brilliant in Spanish and, like, majored in Spanish in college as well. But phonetically, that's pretty much like how you would say it in Spanish backwards would be Zero Authority, but it's Authority Zero. So
wow, I love that.
That was pretty intriguing, and he presented that to us. We're like, that's freaking brilliant. You know?
So, you know, talk a little bit about the history of the band. What year was the band formed, and how did you guys kind of all come together?
we came together back in 1994. It was the summer of '94.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's a long time, man. It's been almost 28 years next summer. But we're just a bunch of kids again, like Jeremy and Bill, my bass player, and my guitar player. Were in guitar class together at a school called Westwood with also Jerry Douglas. And I didn't live there. My dad lived there.
Wow.
And I lived in Wyoming, but I would go visit my dad in the summer times out in Arizona. And that's where I met in that complex, that apartment complex, my one and only friend at that time, Jerry Douglas. And he knew those guys, obviously, you know, from school. And so we were hanging out. We all started hanging out. I was really born to skateboarding than anything. I love music. It kind of came with skateboarding, like punk rock and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so we sat down one summer just smoking cigarettes, drinking 40s, you know, like little kids. Like,
yeah, little kids, I like it.
Like little kids do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we started just chilling, and Bill started playing this song he put together on acoustic, and I wrote a song to that song to make it a song collaboratively. And he's like, dude, that was really fast and kind of good. He's like, do you want to be our singer and start a band? I was like, sure, whatever, dude. You know, I wasn't really like in my head or anything. I was in a band back home in Wyoming, like a little thrash punk band that was garbage.
And talk about culture shock. I bet it's quite different from, you know, Arizona's a lot different, I bet, from Wyoming. Am I right about? Yeah, so almost like, wow, yeah, this is really different. And were you always kind of a singer? Did you always kind of want to be, or did you just kind of fall into this?
I always sang. I always loved music. I've loved music as far back as I can remember. You know, of every style, to be honest with you, every genre, like even in the hip hop and you know, you name it, like early days, like and things. You know, obviously over time just got more and more developed with different influences. But I've always sung. My mom was a singer all the time. She'd always sing, had a beautiful voice. My uncle Don, her brother, is a professional performer as well. He does like Willie Nelson impersonations, Elvis Presley impersonation, things of that nature. So I think I've kind of ran the blood a little bit in the family on my mom's side. So
when Mom seen you doing the punk thing and came and, you know, seen you kind of perform for the first time, what was that experience like?
Oh, dude, it was a trip. It's like in the early days, it was like there's gonna, you know, it's like the old thing. You're a kid, and they're like, cause that's what I said to him. I was like, when we started the band that summer, I had to go back to Wyoming, and I was like, I actually remember writing it out on paper, like how I had to sell my parents back home that I had to move to Arizona because we started this band and we're gonna be huge, and they don't even know, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no, you're coming home.
And you stuck with it, so you lived up to your word, and that's pretty, you know, that's pretty cool story right there. But you know,
we'll close that out real quick too. Yeah, the neat thing about that is it was like that, and then fast forward about 15 years later, we headlined a 30,000 person festival in my hometown of Phoenix.
Oh wow!
A radio festival, and my mom flew out to surprise me, and she wanted to be in the crowd, like front and center, and it just made my heart huge. Like, look down in the audience of that many people, and like that, like, you know, in my mind the entire time I'm thinking back to the early days of when the band started, and now to see my mom down there like so proud and just kind of not believing what's happening in a sense.
like your biggest fan, and what I love about that story is that so often you hear the other side of it, which is like people telling you, you know, your parents telling you, you know, in your case, like, oh, you have to play this, you know, loud punk music. Couldn't you go and play in a church band or something? But I love how Mom is so supportive, you know?
She is honestly my biggest fan, man. It's so cool, and I just love her to death. Man, it's so cool.
Yeah, and you know, I love too the way you talk, Jason. Like, you know, even present day, like we're a bunch of kids. You got that attitude like you did when you first started the band, and I think that's probably why the band's kind of got such a fresh sound, because, you know, obviously the band's got kind of like a punk influence. You guys, I would kind of say you guys are a punk band or a rock band, rock punk, whatever you want to call it. But music got definitely an edge to it. So, you know, and I think that's part of the reason it comes across so authentic, because you're so into what you do. It's you're not faking it, if you know what I mean.
No, absolutely. I feel like, honestly, man, I appreciate that for one. And, and to follow that up, I think that I really do like the ideals that I learned as a kid. I almost, you know, I'm 42 years old now. We started this when I was 14, which is just freaking mind-blowing when I say it out loud like that, you know, and even let people know that, you know.
Yeah. In fact, see, that's the thing is, you know, when your publicist sent me the press release about the band, I was reading up on you guys and what you guys were about. I was thinking you guys are a new band. I had no idea it's a band that's been around 27 years, and so I think that's something people need to know because I mean, any band really can stay together for 27. That's quite an accomplishment. And
thank you very much.
And I was thinking on this current tour, you guys should really kind of celebrate that, and not just in support of a new album, but that hey, yeah, we've been here for 27 years.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We have a song that was on not the last record. I'm sorry, about 2 records back. It's called For the Kids.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an introspective song about just being those kids, and that once again that idea of keeping that in your heart.
Yeah.
How you were affected by this kind of thing or certain things in your life, and how much it meant to you, and when you're always younger, you're you tell your folks, you're don't forget what it was like when you were my age, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's now I am that age, so it's I held on to that so strongly in my mind and heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can kind of relate to that because I'm a little older than you. I'm 50 years old this year, and I'm kind of at the point in life where, like you're saying, I remember when I was growing up. I remember being a teenager. I couldn't wait to grow up, and now that I'm the age I am, I'm still kind of all right with being the age I am, but. It's I was like, well, I wish I could be young again a little bit, but
Yeah, no, you're what happened in 30 years? You know what happened, but you're they always say the blink of an eye, and it goes by fast, and when it doesn't when you're a kid, you're I wish it could go quicker, and then all of a sudden you're it did.
It's so true because, even if you think about it, I'm even thinking just a couple of weeks away we are from a new year. I can't believe a year's gone by, and you kind of thinking about the span of time, 10 years, like you said, in a blink of eye, it comes and goes faster than you even know it.
It really does. It's mind-blowing, dude. And then when you stop and actually look back and reminisce, and you try and really break it apart, you're wow, that has been quite a ride, dude.
Yeah, I think you guys have kind of arrived in the sense, like I said, you've been doing it for, I'm just finding it out as I'm talking to you. The fact that you've been doing it for 27 years, that is really quite the accomplishment, and it deserves kind of a celebration here. And so, as far as the band, how many albums do you guys have in your catalog of music?
We have about 8 albums. It's 8 full-produced albums, live, full-on albums, I guess, fully plugged. We have 3 live acoustic albums that we've reformed a lot of our songs throughout the years into live concerts, and we turned them into jazz and some reggae songs and whatever, just straight acoustic songs. We did those, put 3 of those out, and we've got 2 EPs from the very early days, and we're currently still working on the next one after that. I think it's 9 or maybe 11. I don't even know.
And so, if people want to go and check out the back catalog, is everything kind of available for people to check out? Is there anything out of print?
There is some stuff out of print, but everything is available online for the most part. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, old videos. It'll look like a different singer every time, but that's just me aging throughout.
Yeah, that's live, as we're saying.
Experimenting, I'm sure myself, But you can. 2 of the records are out of print at the time. It's when we first got signed to a major label back in 2001 with Love Atlantic Records, and we put 2 records out with them.
Oh wow!
And when we got dropped by them back in the day, they had the rights to the records, which freaking sucks. Because we'd love to have those on our merch table and all that stuff. So it'd be nice to try and find a way to get those records back. Here's a question for you in regards to that. I kind of know where a lot of people stand with this, but you've seen some bands where, I think even Def Leppard did this to get the rights back to some of their songs. They went in and re-recorded this stuff, with the guys in the band now. How do you feel about doing stuff like that, or do you think there's a certain, you don't want to mess with what already was down on tape? That's the concept. That is a catch-22, I guess. It's I love the, you want to keep the authenticity of what it was in the moment back then and stuff, but you also want to make it available for your fans and friends and whatever. It's so I have no qualms with really going back and re-recording the music. And with that though, it would be not trying to recreate it completely as it was. At least the songs with the updated version of the band and the new intensity that might be something that we were missing back then or something too.
And possibly another way you could do that is either I don't know if you want to release another live album or even, here's a suggestion, maybe put together in celebration of 27 years at some point, a greatest hits collection.
Yeah, we did actually on our 25-year anniversary. We did a live. It's called Live at the Rebel Lounge. I forgot about that one.
Oh wow! Yeah, yeah.
It's a double disc set you can get. It's about 30 songs or something. We did live 2 nights back to back, and really turned out really super clean. So that is out there. So the songs are out there like that for sure. So if anybody wants to check it out, go do that. It's online as well.
Yeah, because and just in case you're wondering, Jason, part of the reason I'm talking about the back catalog and you're thinking, hey, we got a new album here to talk about, is because a lot of times, people will discover a band like Authority Zero online and they'll see all the information about the current album and they might not even realize, this band's been together 27 years. They got some other stuff for you to check out. And a lot of times I know when I'm checking out a band for the first time, I find out they got other releases. Oh, you know what? I'm digging this. I'll go check out what they did before. So that's what I want other people to do. When they find out about your band.
Sure, I'm the same way, man. It's like you want to see like where it all started, where it came from. You're probably gonna. Don't be surprised if you hear some different influence or some different things after that much time because, again, I feel like the last 20 years has been like practice for the big game. So it's like, learning along the way and making it what it is meant to be in the end, I guess, really.
Yeah. And now, would you tell folks that, like, in regards to Ollie, Ox, and Free, like I said, I'm assuming you guys are a punk band. Would you say that's kind of the sound of everything or kind of like you're saying everything kind of has different influences in it?
We have always been like a band that's been highly inspired by punk rock music.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Punk rock and DIY side of things for sure. And it's like with that came not really giving too much of a care about what music we incorporated into it as long as we liked it and as long as we were inspired by it. And I think that's what it's also kept the band going and fun for us because it's not just the same, progressive 3-chord punk song or something or standard 3-chord punk song that's over and over again, and it just makes it fun for us still, and it's something we've actually done from the beginning till present day, and we've always tried to incorporate different elements like that to always change it up, but also keep it somewhat familiar also.
And also kind of having that punk influence in your music. I was kind of curious when you're talking about how you've played some of these songs live and you've done kind of jazzy versions and what was on the record. How do your fans react to that? Something they dig, or do any people like that?
Yeah, they have so far. I mean, there's probably a lot of people are like, what the hell are they doing,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I mean, that's half the fun, too. It's like, what the hell are we doing? We don't know. We're having a good time. So, you got to do it for yourself as well. Otherwise, people smell the bull crap.
Oh, that's so true because, part of punk fans, I know they have a real thing about so-called selling out, like Green Day, when they became popular, all of a sudden fans were accusing them, oh, Green Day's, they're a pop band now, they're not punk. But hey, I mean, I dare any punk band to say you wouldn't want to sell as many records as Green Day,
Dude, I mean, Green Day has been a pop and a punk band since they started out. They just started writing better songs, I think,
Yeah.
They just kind of got older and perfected their art that they were probably trying to do back when they were kids.
Yeah, and just talking today, Jason, what I've learned is this, not only has this band been around a lot longer than what I thought, the fact that you signed to Atlantic Records, that says, they thought you were that good enough to put you on their label, even if they ended up dropping the band, anyways, and the fact that you're continuing to put out new music, maybe not on a major label, but the fans are still there, I think that speaks volumes.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, man. I mean, they're the best fans. They really have. I think the fans, the people that stuck around were the ones that really got it. And the ones that are sticking around and coming to shows now, too, on top of that, they get it. And they really have embraced it. And we've embraced them. And it's been a really cool big zero crew family, we call it. It's like everyone's just like out there to have a good time, that comes to the shows. There's never a lot of a lot of violence, it's like people get down and get wild, but they always look out for each other, and that's what we just love and appreciate and really promote. And so I was curious if you
kind of touched on this fact that you've always been a singer, but I was curious when you started out and you decided you wanted to do music, did you start out like on the guitar or playing any other instruments?
I did a little bit like on guitar, but I was, like any kid that early on, you got, once again, the 3-chord, songs kind of you're trying to middle with. So a little bit of guitar, but it was mostly like singing along to other people's songs and just kind of getting the groove of that. And again, a lot of it just came with skateboarding and the old bands like Pennywise, Bad Religion, Operation Ivy, Rancid, to keep bringing Minor Threat, Fugazi, Offspring, all that stuff back in those days. It's like weird to say that's old school now because
Oh yeah, yeah.
you think about it, and it is like now like another generation of old school.
Yeah. That's so true. And so I was curious, like, once you started singing, like kind of go back when you first started writing and hearing yourself, on tape and that. Was that hard to kind of get used to? Because a lot of people say, like anybody, I guess, hearing your voice on tape kind of takes a while to get used to. Did you experience any of that?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're still trying to learn how to sing.
Yeah.
Which I'm still learning. It's like you're always learning, but especially back in the let's give it a shot days.
Yeah.
You listen back, and I'm my worst critic because I think
everyone is. Yeah, I think everyone is. And but the reason I'm asking that is too because you're a pretty good singer, obviously. Signed a major label, and you're still doing it. But were you surprised when you were starting to make these records and having people tell you, Jason, you got a pretty good voice. Why don't you just be the singer? I mean, what was that like? Were you surprised, or did you kind of have that confidence that you were a good singer?
No, I did not at all. Actually, that's why I really enjoyed punk rock because I didn't really have to do that good of a job. I felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, as long as I'm singing lyrics that are from the heart and like my angst, and I'm getting it out, getting it off my chest. The singing. The wanting to sing better and learn how to sing better came over the years with age. I mean, I started getting influenced by different bands that their singers were really actually good singers, like just singing, not screaming or trying to sound as bad as they could, I guess. And I really latched on to that, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know who Iggy Pop is, but he's kind of ultimate punk. I mean, back in the day, you could go on YouTube and see that guy used to cut himself on stage. I'd never seen anything like that,
Oh, sure, yeah, the shock factor, man. The shock factor for sure. And with that, yeah, it was like, I still, like, to this day, I do, like, I started back in 2006 really diving into acoustic guitar and more melody, and there's an artist called Jeff Buckley, who's passed and gone by now,
yeah,
but I heard him on an East Coast tour one time from some friends of mine that introduced me, and it's just beautiful singing, and I was like, I really want to do that as well, and not like that or this, but I was like, I want to do them both.
Yeah.
And so I really dove into it and started doing some solo records that are much more melody of that nature and more singer-songwriter stuff. But it's just a big yin and yang, dude. It's like I get to do this and I get to do my other thing that's something I love creatively.
Yeah, and the thing too, going to see a punk band live is it's one thing to put the record on and you can get off on the music, but I mean a lot of the punk bands I've seen over the years, like the live performance, like you said, just like diving into the crowd and stuff like that, and I mean you take it to the next level live, I would imagine.
Oh man, I think that's probably where we shine the most as a group. I mean, fans that have come out over the years have told us the same, that they're like, you guys sound like your record, but you are a completely different monster live than your even record is. So that's one thing I think that if people really want to get the full effect of this group, even to this day, so many years later, you don't put the age on a stamp. I guess it's only been a fine line. I feel like with the musicians in the group, and like the intensity that comes with just the ups and downs of life and the passion of it.
So Jason, in regards to the new album, can people get physical copies? Like, are you selling it at the shows? Can they get it online, or is it all just available digitally?
You can get it everywhere, man. You can get it online. You can get it at noshirtnoservice.com, which is for a hard copy as well as vinyl. And every show will have definitely hard copies on us of both of those as well.
Oh, that's cool. And the thing I love about vinyl making a comeback is I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me a funny story. He says, I don't even own a turntable, but I'm starting to get everything on vinyl just so I can have a collection. I think that's kind of a cool thing, and that's kind of a lot of people's story.
That's totally, dude, and that's the fun of it too. Is like with vinyl, because people just do digital now, it seems, but the artwork is like such a creature of its own, and that's been always one of my favorite things was the actual artwork that came with the vinyl or even the CDs or the tape decks back in the day. Yeah,
see, people are missing out on that experience. I mean, you got to kind of move along with the times. I understand, but like you said, I mean, kids today, I don't think they understand the experience of going to a record store. I used to spend all day in Tower Records looking. I remember first time I saw Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast before I even knew who Iron Maiden was, and I just saw the album cover like, what is this? What the hell is this? I got to get this. And same thing like with Kiss Destroyer and all those great albums. But like you said, they used to the artwork, and you'd go home and you'd read who played on the album, who wrote the songs, and nowadays people like, I'm not going to buy the whole album, I'm just going to buy the latest single for 99 cents. Yeah, that's great and everything, but see, that's the cool thing too with vinyl making a comeback, from what I understand. Okay, yeah, you might have to pay $35 for a vinyl edition, but then the band also is able to make money that way.
Absolutely, it keeps us alive out here in this day and age, man. It's like we it's our livelihood, really. And it's just appreciated when people go out and actually do that to help support the bands. It means the world, and that's just what I've always said. If you want to see your bands that you love so much, stick around,
support them,
keep on doing what they do. If that doesn't happen, they're gonna have to stay home and get jobs and maybe play once a year. It's a bummer about it. But ultimately, like you said, the artwork is it's an art piece of itself, and it's something that bands really take a lot of time and care into to really make special and be that piece of time that goes with the music.
And the cool thing I've seen about some of the vinyl is like where they'll have like different editions. They might have like different album covers or different color vinyl and stuff like that to make it that like a limited run. It's that much more special because only so many are printed up or whatever.
Definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think if we've done something like that in the past with some of ours. I feel like we've done different colors of the actual vinyl itself.
Yeah.
As far as the imagery goes and color wise, we did that with Andiamo, our second album. That was on Lava. We did a few different colors. Change up the front print of it. Yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah, I think that's great. It kind of keeps it interesting and keeps it, once again, just a cool art piece.
And so, in regards to the current tour, is this a set tour where you guys have another band? Like, are you headlining, or are you opening band, or is it like different bands in different cities?
Yes, we're headlining this whole run, and it's different cities from their set areas coming out to each show. So you're getting a bunch of different music along the way.
Wow. Well, so once again, we've been talking to Jason Devore. This has been Chaotic Risk Magazine, and I could talk to you all day, Jason, but I know you're getting ready for a show tonight, so we will let you go and wrap it up for today. But let's keep in touch, and I'd love to do this again down the line. And anytime you have anything to promote, so I like to kind of stay in touch with folks and say, okay, we're family. We featured you on the show now, and so there's nothing to say we couldn't do this again. So thanks for doing so. It's been real fun getting to know you.
You the same. I appreciate it, love it, and let's do it again. I appreciate the time.
And I will tell Mike when the interview posts. I expect to be probably about 2 or 3 weeks from now. As soon as I got a confirmation date for you guys, I will let you know. And like I said, you want to post it on your site, feel free to do so.
Sounds fantastic, man. Thanks again for that.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.